Hi, my name is Matilda Goad, and for this week's assessment, I chose the Promoting Student Choice Design Your Own Project option. As a future teacher, I'm looking forward to creating an environment that's capable of adapting to all students' needs. Of course, there's need for accommodating students with differing abilities, but alternatively, it's necessary to allow for students with different learning styles to be assessed in the same way that stimulates and engages them within the classroom. My assignment was aimed toward a high school English class that had just finished reading J.D. Salinger's The Catcher in the Rye. For younger high school students especially, The Catcher in the Rye can be a great way to introduce American literature to the classroom in an inviting and fun way. But with that comes a lot of new vocabulary, and my assessment aims to test whether or not students can take this vocabulary and define it and use it in a sentence effectively. The first option that I've provided my students is a simple vocabulary test with a regular format. Students will be provided a word bank with 20 words from the text, and over 3 sections, fill in the blank, definition, and connecting the word to its definition. Students will be tested on their general grasp and knowledge of the vocab. This assessment option is aimed more towards students with a type A brain who would prefer a more straightforward and structured way of being tested on their knowledge of a subject. The second assessment is, however, a much more creative option. Using the same word bank as the test, students would be asked to create a short 2 to 3 minute skit or sketch that would include 10 of the words from the bank. Students are, of course, expected to use the words in the correct context, but with this option, they are also expected to be more physically involved in the class. Ideally, they would be incorporating elements of humor or wit, as well as plenty of motion and action and even props to make their scene engaging and informative for their classmates. When deciding what direction I wanted to take my choices for this assignment, I was personally placed back in my sophomore year English class, where we had just finished reading The Catcher in the Rye. And I was looking forward to doing something fun or creative, but unfortunately I was handed the same exact character analysis essay assignment that I felt like I had exhausted in the past. I was excited to be able to give students an option to express themselves in either a more formatted way or a more creative way to hopefully help some of those students who had been creatively stifled in the past. Student choice is a privilege that I would be happy to provide my students with as a teacher. As a former student myself, being able to read my favorite book and decide how I want to be assessed based on my learning style is an option that I would be very grateful to be provided. So far in this class, we've covered a lot of topics, but what I drew most from when completing this assignment was Chapter 3 of The Power of the Adolescent Brain, which talks a lot about the positive effect that choice can have on students in a classroom. I personally feel as though using the skills that I've learned here, I can successfully guide students in the direction that will help them most according to their learning style. And I personally, as a future teacher, look forward to making my classroom somewhere that students will feel welcome to explore all different types of learning.